Another week, another weird and creepy compilation. Here's a roundup of all the stories and the videos I shared on all of my other socials this week. Sit back, grab a snack, and let's get weird. What the fuck is this? What the fuck?
Finally something in Anaheim happens. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. We have customers.
Oh shit.
Now we have it. You see the light? Behind it, the red light.
Some people in the comments are saying it's a cloud burst. I don't know what that is, but I've been alive for 41 years and I have never in my life seen something like that. So can somebody tell me, like, what is it? It looks pretty fucking ominous to me, okay? But maybe it's a normal thing. I need an explanation, scientific or otherwise. Please tell me in the comments. Thank you. Let's read one of your weird, creepy stories. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I recently found your video and have enjoyed hearing the mixture of all things glitch. When my niece, I'll call her M, was a toddler, my sister would tell me stories of hearing M chatter away on the baby monitor or when sitting and playing. As M's vocabulary grew, it started sounding like conversations. My sister would ask, "Who were you talking to?" And M would always reply, "My Finn." My sister would occasionally ask questions about it like, is Finn a toy? Is Finn one of the children at the library story time? Is Finn a character from a book or a show? Em would always giggle and say, "That's funny, Mom." Okay, I don't like that. So finally one morning after listening over the monitor to Em have a particularly long conversation, my sister goes into her room and asks Em, "Is Finn a little boy?" Em just looks at her confused and says, "Why do you ask me, Mommy?" My sister says, "Because I cannot see Finn." Em just giggles like my sister is teasing her and says, "Well, not anymore, Mommy." So this was just an interesting family anecdote for a year or so until I was visiting my sister's house and had a curious experience myself. We were sitting in their living room chatting when I hear footsteps coming down the hall directly behind my chair, and I turn expecting to see who is walking into the room. I see no one and turn back to the conversation only to realize that we are all already sitting in the living room. I turn to my brother-in-law because he is sitting closest to me, and without me having to say a word, he just says, "Yeah, that happens. We don't know what it is." It's a ghost, dummy! Fast forward to Christmas, my niece is about 2.5 years old, and we are all spending the holidays at my parents' house. There's plenty of room, and each couple gets their own bedroom, as well as Em having her own room. But with the only TV being in the living room, it was not uncommon for anyone who had trouble sleeping to end up on the couch in the living room. So when I had trouble sleeping and went out into the darkened living room, I immediately felt like someone was sleeping on the couch and that I needed to be quiet so I wouldn't wake them. The living room is dark, but there's a bit of light from the little displays on the TV and the DVD player and the moon and streetlights coming through the windows. So as I rounded the sectional couch, I see something that is darker than the dark bolt off of the couch and disappear. It was about a foot taller than the height of the couch's seat, and I could see it for 2 to 3 feet as it bolted off the couch until it disappeared. I am stopped in my tracks, but I don't feel particularly afraid. I walk around the same path a few times trying to reproduce what I saw, but couldn't come up with any explanation. Not sure what to make of it, I watch a little TV and go back to bed. I don't understand how people are so brave in these stories. How did you? I would have left the living room. The next day is normal. We wake up early, make pancakes with my niece, play with some of the gifts she got for Christmas, and in the afternoon she goes down for a nap as usual. The adults do various quiet activities so we don't disturb her, and I decide to read a book. I'm alone on my bed with the door closed. I'm lying on my stomach, propped up on my elbows with a book on the bed. It was a non-fiction book with a heavy subject matter, Killers of the Flower Moon, and I am moved to tears when all of a sudden I feel the edge of the bed next to my left ankle sink down. Then I feel the space between my ankles sink. I can't believe what I'm feeling, but I just sit there really still to see what happens next. And then I feel the area next to my right ankle sink, and the edge of the bed next to my left ankle goes back to normal. Then the area between my ankles goes back to normal. I never felt anything touch me, but it was just like what it would feel like if a child or a pet had climbed onto the bed. I felt both the mattress gradually sinking and rebounding. The whole thing probably took 3 to 4 seconds. We have no pets, and there was no one else in the room with me. I sat there very still, waiting to see if something else would happen, but that was it. I went out and excitedly told my sister that I just had the weirdest thing happen, telling her both stories, and like it's the most normal thing in the world, she says, yeah, that was probably Finn. But I'm like, Finn? M's invisible friend? Why would I be able to see or feel it? She says no clue, but I'm pretty sure it travels with us. Still confused, I ask, okay, but why would it crawl in bed with me? She jokes, I don't know, did you just lay down to take a nap? I tell her no, I lay down to read. Her face changes and says, you were reading the book that you were telling us about earlier? The sad one? Yes, it is really sad, I said. Maybe he wanted to check on you. There's a couple more stories of my niece seeing/hearing things the rest of us couldn't when she was little. They stopped telling stories about them, so I don't know if she just grew out of whatever it was or just stopped talking about it.
The end!
This has to be some sort of like camera trick, right? Because like there is no way that this person got on camera almost a full apparition, like the best apparition I've seen in a video, really, that wasn't definitely fake. Do we go to the comments? Let's go to the comments. Okay, so a lot of the comments are actually pointing towards time shadow theory, and I actually didn't know there was a name for this because this is a theory that I have had for a while now, and I know a lot of other people, I've seen a lot of other people also have this theory, but I didn't know there was a name for it. Basically, time, not linear, right? So everything's happening all at once. So a lot of people think, including myself, like, hey, ghosts and spirits that we're seeing, are they actually ghosts from the afterlife that are visiting, or are they just bleed over from another timeline? I mean, it could be, sometimes it could be one, sometimes it could be the other, but it could just be timelines crossing, and that's what we're seeing. So maybe in this video, she caught timelines crossing over, and that's someone riding a horse in a timeline that's crossing over, very similar timeline, or maybe not even similar, crossing over, and she somehow caught that on camera. And if that's true, that's really freaking cool. Let's read one of your weird stories. This one is called Just Dreams or Alien Visitations, and there's also a trigger warning for miscarriage, just FYI. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I just finished reading your book. I loved it, and I love how strange these stories are. Shameless plug, this is my book. Go get it. It's called The Glitch in the Matrix. You can get signed copies too in my bio. Okay. I do have one or two of my own, and after seeing how many people submitted their experiences, I feel brave just like them to submit mine. Here goes nothing. This is by far the strangest thing that has ever happened to me, and it dates back to 2015. In September of 2015, I lost an unborn baby, and this is the account of what happened. I'm so sorry. A week or so before this happened, everything was normal until that week on a Saturday night, I dreamt I was taken by a rather large UFO. In my dream, I was back home in Fiji. I live in Australia, and I was weirdly back in that apartment building that my mom and I used to live in. In my dream, a thin silver tube was inserted in my stomach, and all this time I was terrified, and I could literally feel my heart pounding so fast, and I could feel it so deeply in my chest. My mom was there too, and I was trying to tell her that something was happening to me, and suddenly something was extracted from my stomach. I could feel it being pumped out of my stomach. In my dream, at that exact point, I got so dizzy that I blacked out. I've never felt so dizzy, especially in a dream. But something in my dream told me it's happening for real, or I thought it was. Just maybe I was stressed or something. This is what I told myself later. That same night, I woke up all of a sudden and then realized I had lost my child. All I saw was blood in my clothes. So the night after I lost the baby, I was weirded out pretty bad, but I tried to get over it. And somehow I felt it was taken instead of miscarrying it. I just want to say that you're not alone, and I've heard many accounts of this happening. 4 nights later, I dreamed the baby was in a lab in a tank, and it was trying to communicate with me. The lab was kind of dark, and the light was only around the tank where the baby was. Around the tank were 3 figures, and they seemed to be trying to communicate with me, but I couldn't understand a thing. And these figures kept pointing towards the tank, and for the life of me, I still couldn't understand, so I started to wake up. I could feel myself leaving the dream, and as I opened my eyes, I saw a figure at the foot of my bed. I was startled, and I thought it was my husband, and I looked beside me, but he was fast asleep, and then I couldn't see that thing/person, so I nervously closed my eyes, as now I was hyper aware of things around me, and I was still fragile from the miscarriage and the blood loss. But then I heard a voice in my right ear, and I snapped open my eyes again, and I saw a being next to me on my right-hand side of the bed, and its entire face was filled with binary digits. Like matrix code? Is that what you mean? That's crazy. The next thing I knew, it leaned forward closer to my right ear, whispering things I couldn't understand. At this point, I was really scared, and I thought that because of the trauma, I was hallucinating. I squeezed my eyes shut and I forced myself to go back to sleep. A week later, I dreamt again, and there was a little girl next to me, and those three beings again appeared and gestured towards her. She was around 5 years of age and had long brown hair and big brown eyes, which were slanted in an almond shape and tanned, and to be honest, looked a little bit like me, but also she had no nose, but instead had tiny slits where the nose should be. And she pointed at something in the distance and using a different language as she held onto my hand. Slowly, her resemblance to me got clearer. I will never forget her eyes as they were different and wasn't a normal shape that humans have. She seemed so close to me, holding my hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. That's crazy that you're already seeing her at like 5 years old, only like a week later. I'm wondering if this is like your hybrid alien baby, which is what I'm assuming it is, if they age faster. These nights of strange dreams really shook me, and I became depressed and dangerously close to being anemic, as after the miscarriage I felt weak and I couldn't retain much iron from the food that I ate. I saw my doctor a week after that above dream, and after a few tests he was very confused, as I shouldn't be this weak and I shouldn't have had so much blood loss, but there was evidence of an embryonic pregnancy, so he told me I needed to bed rest and to take it easy. My iron levels were unusually low and I was very close to being anemic. This was alarming since this has never happened before, but I could never forget the whole experience, and suddenly, a few weeks later, I began to have even crazier dreams, and my dreams started to feel more like memories. My miscarriage somehow left me open to weird dreams that seemed very real. And hold on, there's more, and it gets stranger. How can it get stranger? Still in 2015, close to Christmas, I dreamt of the apocalypse on Earth, where 3/4 of the world was destroyed, and the same beings from the previous dreams were still trying to show me something. I still have no idea what they were trying to say. This other dream was equally weird. It's like I was watching everything from someone else's eyes. Thousands of years ago, a massive spaceship crashed on Earth. It was made of amethyst crystal. I was inside that spaceship. The control terminal was broken off of its hinges and was stuck on the floor of the ship. A few people were in there with me, trying to fix the controller. There was a battle outside and I was confused. At the very center of the controller, there was a panel. When touched, it turned into an amethyst eye, which was speaking in another language. It was a long dream with battles outside the ship. I also saw how many of my family members were part of the crew. For some reason, I knew in my dream that I wasn't exactly a human. It sounds like they're showing you another life or previous lifetime with them on another planet. After a while, I started to see little cuts and burns on my skin, and I don't know if I can remember where they are from. Wait, was that in a dream, the cuts and the burns, or that was like in real life? Once I dreamt I was in a nightclub, sitting on a sofa, and this being was nearly 9 foot tall, fair and blonde, and blue-eyed man was holding my wrist, and he said he needed my blood. And I obliged and gave him my arm and indicated he could use the vein on my inner elbow, but he was insisting using the purple vein. He was very specific about the purple vein, and he took the blood from my wrist and seems like he used his forefinger to take it out. The next day when I woke up, I had tiny brown holes that looked like they were healing. Friend, these are not dreams, all right? These are definitely not dreams. This is all abduction alien stuff. That's my take on it. I had another dream in 2016 in October that I astral projected to another universe. That same month, one night, I slept on my left side, but my right side of the arm and shoulder hurts. I remember landing on the alternate universe and my right shoulder hurt in the dream. I think I astral projected and I was traveling through the nebula. I cried because it was so magical and the colors were so different and so beautiful. In the alternate universe, I saw my husband and son and my dog, but the alternate universe versions. The buildings were so different, I was scared at first, and when I saw the other versions of my husband and son and dog, I felt better. There was a dark lady who was controlling things in that universe, and she was asexual, but I'm pretty sure this dream was due to ET connection. I say it's some sort of ET connection because ever since my miscarriage, I started remembering things when I was was little. These above significant dreams also made me remember my dreams more vividly. In my dreams was always being taken by otherworldly beings, and it was very vivid. I started to feel like I was being watched. I even have strange memories of being in a glass building and being tested on, but I couldn't leave. No matter how much I tried, I could not escape the building. There have been some positive dreams where I'm being guided by strange beings. The most recent event was in mid-2017. I woke up with a strange triangular reddish burn a few inches below my right armpit. It took at least a few months to fade. I did think that it was a friction burn at the time, but the perfect triangular burn seems crazy. Yes, I hear a lot of things about triangular markings and abductions. These events really make me wonder what's really going on. I've only seen one UFO in Fiji in the year 2001. I will never forget it. The silence of the craft, the metallic texture, and the way that it hovered about 20 kilometers away from my apartment building, it was as if it was watching me. A full minute passed and then it disappeared. I haven't seen another since then that you remember. There's another time when I dreamt I was in a building with all these unknown people. They were humans, by the way, I've never met, but felt like I knew them. Anyways, in my dream, I knew I was dreaming. There's this feeling where you just have this feeling in the middle of your chest and at the back of your mind that you are dreaming. In that dream, we got attacked by something, I don't know what, so they grabbed me and this other girl and say that they have a means to send me to a different place through hallucinations, and they put this weird looking insect over my right eye and its excretions acted as hallucinogens and sent me to a different place. Like I knew when and where I was in the dream, and in that dream I knew I was in a dream's dream. In fact, it's like I had an implant. This is crazy. Shortly a few days after, I started to feel quite off and even I blacked out and I didn't feel like eating. I developed a migraine right after. Weirder still though, before I had this dream, I did wake up and go to the window and saw this weird object. It was huge and twinkling, possibly Venus or Saturn, but right after that, I fell asleep and dreamt that dream. I think it's possible that with my past experiences, I could be reliving some very past life memories. After all, the subject of consciousness is very vast and where it travels when we're dreaming. But over the course of many years, my dreams were mostly of alien beings taking me away. They almost always looked different. That's interesting because normally it's like the same species of alien that's taking the person. Like I've had personal experiences that were spent with these creatures. I still don't get it. I haven't been able to decipher the dreams. Even now, I still think about what those dreams really mean, and the most recent dream I had about aliens had me thinking there's something going on in the universe and it's much bigger than us. I even had a strange marks on my skin, which I have photos of and can never work out how it got there. I took photos to make sure I would never forget what happened, and I don't know what people might think if they read this, but it certainly had me thinking that something isn't right or something is going on and I can't place my finger on it. After seeing so many creatures in my dream, I simply ignore each dream now, as I know I won't find the answers that I seek. And who knows, maybe that's all they are, just dreams, and that my brain made up to compartmentalize all my human experiences. You can decide. Or not, but I know I will never forget these dreams. Number one, I do not think they're dreams, and number two, we believe you. The end. Thank you so much for sharing your story. What the fuck is this? It looks like a demon from Supernatural. Or just like black, smoky... Is that what a shadow figure looks like? I've never actually seen a shadow figure like with my own two eyes, but it looks like this shadow figure comes over like it could be a sleep paralysis demon or something on top of this sleeping woman. Other woman comes in, starts whacking it around with shoes. First I was like, oh, she's cleansing the person. But no, she's using shoes to whack it away, which then leads me to the question of, is she seeing this thing in real life? Or did she see it on this recording? Like they had like a video camera and they could see it real time and she's like, oh shit, what's that? And then she goes in there and does she still see it? Or is she just kind of whacking around where she thought it was with the shoe? Hold on, there's another video too, hold on. So this one is like a wider angle of like more of the room, it looks like. And okay, she's walking over. For a second, it looked like that was split in half, but I guess it's not split in half, and it's not two different things. So it's like the whole room, and you're gonna see this thing multiple times be moving around. I'm waiting for it to come out the first time. I believe it comes from like the top-ish somewhere, like top left-ish. Hold on, let's wait 1 second. When I was originally watching this, I was watching that closet there or whatever that door is, and I was wondering what that was, but I think that movement there is just some weird light stuff. So we're just waiting for the actual smoke to be coming. I think I see a fan. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there it is. Like, it's moving around, it's moving over, it's going towards her over there. and it's on the right side now. And this happens like the rest of the video. This thing is just like moving around, and this other woman keeps coming in and like swatting it with shoes, swatting it with like what looks like a tennis racket. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if this is real or not, but you guys give me your thoughts in the comments. This video scared the crap out of me yesterday and gave me so many chills. We read this on live. It's a short like backstory of what's going on, and then there's a video, it's about 3 minutes, of this person's toddler speaking to someone that's not there. And it just freaks me out. The whole thing just gave me chills. You guys gotta see it. First, we're gonna read the backstory. My husband and I purchased our first home in 2020 in Louisiana. It's a house built in the 70s in an older neighborhood, and something drew me to this house from the moment that I saw the listing on Zillow. It's nothing fancy, needed repairs, but I knew that it was meant to be our home. Fast forward to moving in, we settled in and would hear a lot of noises in the home that we always classified as, it's an old home with drafty windows. Nothing too strange until I got pregnant in 2021, and then the noises got more frequent. Sounds of footsteps and knocking, doors closing. My husband and myself both experienced hearing voices coming from upstairs when we would be home alone. Our dogs would also randomly become alert and start growling and staring at nothing. Fast forward a few years of the same type of activity happening. Our son is now 3 and communicating better, and we have sadly lost both of our dogs. My son has been referencing things that he sees in our home and has 3 specific things that he references. The first was the red eyes, the second was the push-eye ghost, and the third is a strange man. They all come with their own creepy things that our son has said, but the strange man is the most recent and the only scary conversation I've caught on camera. I emphasize that he has not seen these things on TV, and we do not speak of these things when he's home. A few weeks ago, my son was playing near the foot of the stairs and started waving at the stairs, talking with someone. I watched him for a few seconds and then pulled out my phone to record. He can be seen in the video waving and telling someone or something to come down the stairs. When I approached, he asked me, "What's that?" and saying it was standing. I asked him what it looked like, and he responded with, "It looks like a strange guy." The video is around 3 minutes, and I apologize in advance for the length, but I still get goosebumps every time I watch it. Since this video, I've seen him talking to someone on several occasions, but he stops when he notices me watching. Okay, let's watch the video. You got watch it. Let me know what you think, because what's
that?
What's what, buddy?
What's that?
What is it? Point to it. What do you see?
What is that?
Where?
Up there. What is standing?
What's standing? Where?
I don't know. And I can't see anything.
You can't see it anymore? Can you see it now?
Yes, I can see it.
Where is it?
It's unfortunate
It's what?
because it's standing.
It's standing?
Hey, they can come down, please.
Who?
I got to saw you.
Who are you talking to?
To him.
To who?
Turn it off.
No, we're gonna leave the light on, I think. There's nothing up there, buddy. We're gonna just stay down here, though, just in case. Okay? No, let's don't turn off the light anymore. Okay? Okay. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to him. Hi, you're gonna come down, please. I got started to show you. Come here.
Who, buddy? Who?
Look down. Because it's you.
Look down where?
Up there.
Up where?
Up here.
On the stairs or on... Where? On the stairs?
Yes. It's standing.
It's standing?
Yes.
On the stairs. Can you point to it? Can you point? What does it look like?
It looks like a strange guy.
It looks like a strange guy in our house. Do you still see him?
No.
I don't see anything.
Oh, that's nothing. We can go upstairs.
We can go upstairs. No thanks.
We gotta go upstairs.
No thank you.
We gotta go upstairs.
No thanks.
Oh my god, my heart. This story is so sweet. You have to hear it.
Have you ever seen an angel or a ghost, whatever it is you believe in? I have. Yesterday I told you about the guy at my grocery store that's always there, and people kept commenting that maybe he's an angel or a ghost. Well, I have seen an angel at the grocery store when I was younger. For whatever reason, this was like late 90s, I think. Both of my parents were at the grocery store. Like, we had both cars. I guess we had met there for some reason. And as we were leaving, there was an old man by the door that was asking people for a ride home. So my dad was like, I'll give him a ride home in the truck, and you and the kids can follow in the car, to my mom. So we followed home, dropped this man off. He lived about 2 miles from the grocery store, and then we went on home. And when we got there, my dad was like, you'll never believe this. He just got out of the hospital. This man was elderly. He just got out of the hospital, and he walked to the grocery store so that he could get his wife a card and flowers for Valentine's Day. He did the same thing every year, and he was not going to miss it, even though he couldn't drive and he had just gotten out of the hospital. So we were like, that is the sweetest thing in the entire world, be still my heart. Well, the next morning, as adults did in the 90s, my parents were reading the newspaper while they were drinking their coffee, and this man's obituary was in the newspaper. The man that we drove home the day before, he had died a few days previous. He never left the hospital. But we picked him up at the grocery store after he got his wife flowers the day before. The only explanation is that man is an angel. We saw an angel. We drove an angel home from the Harris Teeter with a dozen roses and one last Valentine's Day card for his wife.
This person experienced another version of herself in another timeline, and you'll never guess who else she saw in that alternate timeline, which I thought was crazy too. You gotta listen. It's a pretty cool story.
All right, y'all. So I'm about to tell y'all some really weird stuff. So if you do not have an open mind, just exit out real quick. Just go and get up out of your partner real quick, because you have to have an open mind. Hold on, I need some water. Whew. Okay, so I've always believed in other universes and other dimensions, like existing right now at the same time that ours is. I believe that time is just something that we just kind of made up because everything is happening all at once right now. But that's for another video. This video is because I've always believed in other dimensions, but I didn't know for sure until I had this experience. Now, this is just one of many experiences that I've had, y'all, and I've been on the fence about talking about this, but my husband was like, you should talk about this stuff. People might be interested, and you don't know who else might be going through the same thing. So that's why I'm sharing right now. So basically, one time when I was laying down, I think I fell asleep. I don't know if I was daydreaming, but this situation is not a dream. Let me clarify, this is not a dream. I know when I've had a dream and when I've experienced something real. So I laid down, and I guess I drifted off. I don't know. But next thing I know, I'm waking up somewhere else. I lay down in my bed. I wake up in another bed. But the consciousness that I had while waking up was that this was a familiar place for me. It was actually my bed, if that makes any sense, but not my bed, not my house. So I wake up. I'm in like a loft, like a big, beautiful, expensive loft, high-rise style situation. It was beautiful. In my bedroom window, I had these floor-to-ceiling windows. That was the wall. And so the sun was shining in from it. So I get up out of my bed and I realize that I have on like satin pajamas. I don't sleep in stuff like that, y'all. I sleep in boxer briefs, like some little boxer briefs and t-shirt type stuff. Like I'm cozy. I'm a cozy chick. I'm not like all into the fancy pajamas. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just that I'm comfortable in regular old, worn, cozy things. I love my stuff. Anyway, I had on these like light satin pajamas or silk pajamas, and I felt that my hair was straight. I do wear my hair straight sometimes, but mainly my hair is curly. Like I'm a wild child. I'm gonna get up and go. If it takes too much time, it is not for my behind. No, but for real, I'm just simple. So, and she just felt just different. So I instantly go to the bathroom. I instinctively knew that that was the bathroom. And I went in there and I put my hand on the sink like this. I'm in my bathroom right now. I put my hand on the sink like this and I look up at myself. But it wasn't me, y'all. Like, I was aware that this was my face. The hair was straight. I didn't look exactly like myself. I carried myself differently. Honestly, it felt like a little bougie version of me. It was weird. But I just kind of was taken aback, like, what the hell going on? So I splashed water on my face. I literally remember feeling the water on my face. And I look at myself again and I'm like, this is really happening, but where am I? Hold on. So this is really happening. Where am I? I'm confused. So I walk back into the bedroom and something tells me, go to the window, right? So I walk to the window. Now, y'all have to understand that I know it's not a dream. I remember this too well. It was very real. So what I'm explaining is, it's like another version of myself. I was not married. I did not have my children. I felt single. It almost felt like a life I would have taken if I had followed my original life plan. And I love my life. I love being a wife, or I love my fine-ass husband. I love being a mother. I love my beautiful children. Like, I love being a mom. I love my life. Don't get it twisted. I have no regrets. But I remember when I was younger, I wanted to be an attorney. I did not want any children. I wanted to be the rich auntie, y'all. I don't know why, but I fell in love and my life changed. Like, and it was like that. But this version of me felt like the version of me that I would have been if I had took my original route. And y'all, when I tell y'all, when I walked to that bedroom window and looked out the window, I looked up to a mountainside. It was beautiful. And on the mountainside was a giant billboard. Okay, y'all, my bad. My phone died, then I had to go to the gym. So here's part 2. And I ended right when I looked out the window, y'all. Y'all are not going to believe who I saw when I looked out the window. There was a massive billboard in front of these mountains, like on the side of the highway. So my loft was right like next to these mountains and the highway. And the big billboard, it was Aaliyah, y'all. It was Aaliyah. And y'all, she looked how she would look now. Like the age, but she was still very beautiful, but very graceful. And it was a skincare line. It was her skincare line, and she was on this billboard, like the bottles of skincare was next to her, and it was like red and gold, the colors on the billboard. But when I seen her, I knew that she was older. I knew that my conscious self, this world self, knew that that was not right, because I know that Aaliyah, may God rest her soul, passed away when I was still a teenager in high school. So in that moment, that very moment, I knew that I was in another dimension. And I was aware. Like, I was aware the whole time, but in that moment, and it scared me so bad that I got dizzy. And I backed up and I laid down on my bed and I closed my eyes. And then the next thing I know, I'm back home, back in this reality. And the first thing I did was run and tell my husband. I was like, what is happening? He was like, you're dreaming. I said, no, it wasn't a dream. It was not a dream, y'all. And I've been holding this in for a while. This happened like 2 or 3 years ago. And other things have happened to me and my youngest son. Y'all, it's a lot to this. It's a lot more to this than we think. But if y'all like this type of stuff, I'll definitely talk about my experiences. I would love to hear about yours, so tag me in them. But y'all, this ain't it. It ain't just us, and it ain't just now. It's all the time. Everything is all the time. Forever. It's crazy. But I often feel like, and I know that version of me knew that, I hit my leg. That version of me knew and was aware that it wasn't in her body either. So I wonder if she was in mine. And what does she think about my little life, my little country life? But that was amazing. And I feel like that's exactly what it was. It's me right now if I had went that path. It's crazy. Believe me or not, you don't have to. You don't have to. I'm not gaining anything from sharing this with y'all, but it's exciting. I'm not scared. It's just exciting. But there's part 2. Y'all have a lot of stuff, but tell me about y'all experiences. Yeah. Sorry for making y'all wait. My bad. Bye.
Time travel? Glitch? Abduction? What do you think? Weird. Watch.
I was on the phone with my boyfriend at 9:59, and I looked at the clock and I was like, let me go to bed. Let me let you go, because I want to go to bed at exactly 10, lights out. Within the minute, I want to have my eyes closed, everything off, because I like to go to bed at even times. And hung up on him, closed my eyes, and then I was like, well, let me set an alarm really quick so I don't sleep until some obscene hour. Turn my phone back on. I'm setting an alarm. I just happened to glance at the time because I'm like, okay, I want to make sure it's not 10:01, because if it's 10:01, I'm going to have to wait till 10:30 to go to sleep, so I'm going to scroll on TikTok for 29 minutes. Check the time. I look at the time. It's 3:30 a.m. Like on the dot, 3:30 a.m. And I was like, okay, that's not right. So I check my iPad and I check my computer, and they both say 3:30 a.m. And so I go downstairs and I check the clock on the stove, 3:31 a.m. I'm like checking every clock in the house. It's 3:30. And I'm like, did I just die and come back to life like 5.5 hours later? Because that's what it feels like. I genuinely don't know what just happened. Like, I guess I was asleep, but it was like a stream of consciousness though. Like, I had the same thought when I woke up that I had when I was going to bed. Like, I need to check and set my alarm before it turns 10:01, or I'm gonna have to stay up until 10:30. Like, that was the thought process I had. And I literally blinked. Like, I literally blinked. Next day, 5.5 hours later, I checked like all the messages I had sent right before I went to bed, and like sure enough, they were like delivered 5.5 hours, 5 hours before. And I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? What just happened? Like, it literally, I just ceased to exist in between 10 and 3:30 apparently, because I have no recollection. Like, it, bam. The only thing I can equate this to is whenever I got my wisdom teeth taken out and I went under anesthesia, and I was counting down, and then all of a sudden I was waking up and they were telling me that I was done, and I started crying because I was scared, because it didn't feel right. I felt like I was being messed with. And then I had a nap a couple years ago that I remember was like this. Like, I literally blinked, and then it was like dark outside, and I had gone to bed when it was light, and I remember thinking that was super weird. But this is much weirder because I wasn't that tired when I went to bed, and that time that I took that nap, I was dog tired. I was so tired. So it was explainable. This is not explainable because I wasn't that tired, and I woke up with the exact same thought. Like, can anyone explain to me what kind of sleep that is? Because I've been trying to research it, but I can't put it into words to form a Google search. So if anyone knows, like if there's a medical professional that knows what that kind of sleep is called, please let me know, because I'm fascinated and freaked out at the same time. Okay.
That concludes our creepy compilation for today. If you like these kind of stories and videos, there will be more, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. But if you want to keep it going right now, you can check out this video or this playlist.